John Ackerman for Convention of States, Indiana. In this episode of COS Basics, I'm going to talk about a point made by attorney Rita M. and that is that an Article 5 convention is the tool given to the states to check federal power. Okay? This is the tool that belongs to the states to check federal power. Article 5 naysayers claim that we should fear a convention of states because they believe that Congress, which is only given the duty to call the convention upon the application of 34 states, then proceeds to dictate the operations of the convention, determine the scope of the proposals, and even select the delegates to attend the convention. This claim is bogus, it's almost humorous, and it's easily laid to rest using a combination of history, logic, and precedents. Number 1, history. A look at James Madison's notes of the convention for September 15th, 1787, reveals that an earlier version of Article 5 gave Congress the sole power to propose amendments. Colonel George Mason objected. He said that, quote, "No amendments of the proper kind would ever be obtained by the people if the government should become oppressive." And so we got the current version of Article 5, unanimously adopted by the Constitution's drafters, requiring Congress to call a convention of states for proposing amendments upon the application of 2/3 of the states. That was number 1, history. Now we look at number 2, logic. In the light of the stated purpose of our founding fathers in adding the convention to Article 5, the Convention of States, to provide the states a way to bypass Congress, it would have been completely illogical for them to choose as their safety net a process that gave Congress control over what proposals could be considered, the identity of delegates to consider them, and the rules that would govern the convention. Our founding fathers were far too wise and experienced to have made such an obvious blunder. That was number 2, logic. Now, number 3, precedent. The body that calls an interstate convention does not, by virtue of issuing the call, exercise any power to choose or commission delegates who will represent other bodies at the convention. This is a matter of logic, but also a matter of precedent. Remember that Virginia called the Philadelphia Convention of 1787. Did it get to choose the delegates for Pennsylvania or Massachusetts or New York or any of the other states? Of course not. Each state chose its own delegates. And that pertains regardless of what body calls the convention. And so her conclusion is that the states control the Article 5 convention process from beginning to end. Congress's role is limited to issuing the call once it receives 34 applications for a convention on the same topic. The call simply sets the date, time, and location of the meeting. The state legislatures control the selection and commissioning of their convention delegates. And so I close the same way I opened, by stating attorney Rita M. Peterson's point. An Article 5 convention is the tool given to the states to check federal power.